I'd been using the unit in my house, and one day there was an accident. There was just thick black smoke in the room, and I mean it was really bad. I figured, oh, this is not going to be a good thing. Um, but I wound up putting the photoplasma unit in the room a few hours later, and the smoke had like congealed into droplets and fell out of the air, and there was no smoke left in the air, no smell. It was crazy. So for me personally, I'm convinced that had an effect. I installed one at my dad's house 24 hours after I installed one of the units in there. There was no smell, and from that time until the point where he had actually um, gotten sick, not from any kind of pulmonary thing. Nobody got colds. Nobody got flu. Nobody got sick. I gave one to my oldest son, who suffers from severe allergies, and he ran it in his office. He runs it in his office, and it helps him, helps keep him from having allergy symptoms. It's that's not like not a miracle, but it's pretty amazing. A technology that's clean, and it doesn't create any harmful side effects or anything like that. It's pretty amazing.
I'm an Airbnb owner, and my Airbnb was recently remodeled. We have a room here that had just complete wood paneling, and it was off-gassing a smell of stain for over a year. And I know that those chemicals, that's actually a chemical off gas that's really bad for you. I put it in there, and just overnight, all of the stain smell disappeared. I was just floored. I was so pleased. And then I ended up moving it into my room. There's a cat box, and got rid of the cat box smell. And then COVID struck. And my family is involved with a couple of nursing homes. They installed them in their respiratory care area, like each room in the respiratory care, and then in the hallways. And it stopped COVID in its tracks. So it was right during the heart of COVID, and they had an outbreak, and then they were going through nurses and RNs left and right. It was such a disaster. So we installed them in two nursing homes, and the severe upper respiratory units, like every room got one. So we and then we put some larger square footage units in the hallways. And what was amazing is it stopped the spread of COVID in its tracks. And one of the guys in one of the homes, he already had pulmonary fibrosis, so he was a really high risk COVID patient. And he ended up being able to heal not only from his COVID, but he returned back to a state that was better than before he got COVID, and he was smiling and happy. And his mom, who was the nursing home administrator, just could not believe like how happy he was. She was really impressed. My dad, we installed one kind of high up in his room, above his bed, and he was able to get off of his CPAP machine. And then but that was after he got COVID. So he came down with COVID, and he did not have the vaccine. So when he got to the hospital, the doctors at the time were told they were, with him being about 80 years old, that they weren't really recommending much other than just sending him home with hospice. He not only healed up from COVID, and he had pneumonia. He had COVID pneumonia. Now he's doing great. He's right back to work. He's doing yard work. He's moving things today. He was very active and totally fine. And then after that is when we installed one above his bed. It's really neat. Like, it takes all of the dust out of the air. And so my nephew has asthma, and when he's home, his asthma issues are better now that my sister has one. And my sister, her husband, came home with COVID. He's a contractor, and they put it in their room, and he didn't pass COVID to her.
I've had a couple of gentlemen with another gentleman with pulmonary fibrosis, Bob Wagner. he came to work with me a little while, and I didn't know I had pulmonary fibrosis, and I didn't know he was a heavy smoker either. Well, one day his mom came over to his house and, Bob, you quit smoking, huh? Well, no, he didn't. There's just no more odor. Okay. And he says he can run up the stairs now like a teenager, and he can't live without it. And that's a true story. I have numerous people. I have another young lady that a good buddy of mine gave one to a friend for a present. She had severe asthma. Well, within 2 to 3 weeks, she was off her inhaler and her nebulizer. You know, so I know what it's done for people. We'll tell them, Bob.
Well, it's been what, Ron, maybe a year and a half or 2 years now, I guess, right? And um, I I've had a chronic sinusitis bronchitis issue for the better part of 50 years, really. And I've taken all the medications. Eventually, they didn't work. I would get sick, literally sick to the point where I couldn't hardly get out of bed 2, sometimes 3 times a year. Well, I'd be laid up and couldn't work. So it had gotten better over time, but I was still getting sick. And so it took a while because my condition was so deeply seated in my sinuses and in my lungs that it took a little while. But it's been a little over a year. And when we were talking, my sinuses are clear. I sleep better. I don't snore as much. I could lose a little weight and that would help. The issue with my sinuses and my ears and getting sick has just gone away. It for me, it was a slower process, but it's gone away. And so I've recommended it to one of my sisters has one of my other great friends has one. He had a stroke 2 years ago. He's been bedridden. He's never been sick. So Rick has been bedridden from his stroke for 2 years. Now his wife does take good care of him, but during that period of time, he's never been sick for any reason, and he's never ever had a bed sore of any kind on his body. And
Since he used
so
it.
that's a pretty amazing thing. My sister had a dog that had an abscess, and when I first gave her the unit, and within a week, yeah, she probably should have taken the dog to the vet, but within a week, that abscess was healing and went completely away without having to spend hundreds of dollars with a veterinarian. So I've recommended it to everybody. I've purchased units and given them to people because that's how convinced I am when they say, well, I'm this, I'm that, I don't know. They're not doing the research. I just buy it and give it to them so that their health is improved. So I have a nephew that has 4 daughters. All of those girls during COVID never got sick with COVID.
We've had this radon detector probably for about a year and a half. We have an old house that was built in the 50s, and we sleep in the basement. And something told me I should be measuring what's going on because I know Oregon is famous for radon and mold. I happened to meet Ron through my friend. We went and met him, saw the bread, the cheese, and I'm like, I'm sold. I'm going to get a unit. And I've been monitoring it. Normally during the winter, it would be 3 to 4 to where they say you need mitigation. Well, there's a lot of things going on in this house, and we're slowly getting it together. But since we got the unit, it's really, I mean, it was down to 0.5 the other day, 5 something. It's never been down that far. And I'm going to get a stronger unit. I think I might not need to do mitigation. It's really working great. We've had leaks in our basement. We have to have the foundation fixed. So we do have a mold issue, although I don't see it, it's there. Also, we just bought a brand new car. It smells awful. It's beautiful, but it smells awful. It just makes you almost sick. So I'm going to get one of the units for the car.
Darren Hamley on Snap Fitness Gyms. Well, he had severe allergies from his new bride's cat. So he wanted to try a unit first. Well, he woke up the next morning for the first time, didn't have any allergy problems. Well, he ended up installing him in all of his gyms also.
I made up my mind. This is obviously what I need. I need to make it happen. And I did. I made it happen. You need to make it happen. If you don't have this cold plasma machine in your house, don't blame me. I am doing fine. And I say it's because of the cold plasma machine. If you've heard about this machine and you haven't gotten it because it costs $800, I'm telling you right now, $800 versus your life. Any questions?